She is extremely difficult to officiate due to the amount of contact that occurs around her.
All of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA.
Rebecca Lobo's comments concerning Caitlin Clark and the referees are so eye-opening that the WNBA brass cannot ignore them. Because even if we just watched the most incredible example of the Caitlin Clark effect after the WNBA terrible, refereeing in the Fever Sun game has the potential to completely devastate the WNBA. Rebecca, a WNBA great, has just sounded the alarm. This is not simply a logical argument. She revealed how many in the WNBA is speaking out about the officiating situation behind closed doors. If we learned anything, it is that the WNBA has learned nothing about how to manage its golden goose, Caitlin Clark. The league will not appreciate this. Nevertheless, was necessary to say. Let us study Rebecca's statements and the growing fever. In many ways, this is good news, but it also highlights the WNBA's lack of activity. First, though, enjoy this video, because the referee's pocket whistle is obviously underused. Every like equals one extra. Whistle. Remember to subscribe for more information on Caitlin Clark and fever. The WNBA requires a refresher. So let's go back a little. And Cunningham is behind the play, but they have Caitlin Clark. Two gamers with amazing. Clark, another long three. She is back. Caitlin Clark's triumphant return occurred only a few games ago. She scored 25 points in the first half, with 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. An electric stretch that didn't simply remind fans what they were missing. IT reminded the entire league of who is actually driving the bus.
But here we go with Caitlin Clark singularly being missing for the time she was gone, and ratings tanking 50% in some cases. And then also she comes back and reminds everyone how spectacular she is. And everybody's talking about the WNBA. So if you needed to sort of have it affirmed to you that it is just her, that the singularity of her is what we are talking about and her star power, you got it with this absence and then the way she came back.
This was the statement of statements, the game that made everything perfectly obvious. The WNBA does not simply benefit from Caitlin Clark. That IT depends on her, and the 5 games she missed were more than just a stumble. They were an expose. Viewership decreased, social engagement plummeted, the national interest rate has flatlined, and suddenly, every WNBA tail minus. Caitlin felt like background noise.
Tell me, what does Clark's return mean for the WNBA?
I mean, it means a lot more people are paying attention once again. We know how much Caitlin drives ratings. We know how much Caitlin drives attention on the WNBA. And for her to come back and do it in that way was just ridiculous.
After weeks of falling ratings and rising pressure, Caitlin Clark's comeback helped not merely raise the heat, but the entire WNBA. Their game versus the Liberty peaked with 2.8 million viewers, making it one of the most watched all-time WNBA broadcasts. For reference, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals drew an average of 2.5 million viewers, and sure, comparing hockey and basketball isn't the perfect apples-to-apples match, but Caitlin Clark just outdid. A century-old men's sports league is in its championship phase, which is unusual, and the significance of this appears to have been entirely overlooked by WNBA leadership, which we'll discuss in a moment, and it hasn't been lost on Rebecca. Lobo is an Olympic gold medalist, a basketball Hall of Famer, and possibly ESPN's most composed voice in the room. Before I get to her thoughts regarding the refs, just look to her explanation of how seismic Clark's return was.
There at the end of the first quarter, when she had that 38-second stretch where she drained deep 3 after deep 3 after deep 3, I was just sitting there thinking, I've been around this league since 1997. I have never seen that in a WNBA game. Have we seen players go on runs? Of course we have, but not like that. Not where a couple of the three-pointers are from 30-plus feet. It was an exhibition by her.
Take a notice of Rebecca Lobo's statement. People are now again watching. Although it is a minor statement, it conveys a lot, because it suggests that people have stopped watching if they resume watching. And we're all aware of the exact instant that happened. Although Caitlin Clark was not present, Lobo didn't stop there. She went on to explain why viewers came back as soon as Clark returned.
It was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA or that I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before.
That's the problem. These were not your normal deep threes or even long twos. These came from a different zip. The code and logo were both bombs. Fans watch because few, if any, players can do it on a regular basis and with such ease. Even Natasha Cloud, who has not been particularly friendly to Caitlin's supporters, did I have to accept reality. As soon as she reaches the middle, you must safeguard her. This isn't typical. Please ask Rebecca.
This angle is wild, folks. There's the eye gouge. Watch Mabry. Boom! I mean, come on.
Because we are no longer simply talking about missed calls or difficult defense. Everything that has been happening, not just since Caitlin's return, but throughout the previous season and this one, things have become increasingly problematic. We're discussing a pattern that has grown so obvious that even seasoned WNBA insiders, people like Rebecca Lobo, are speaking up, and the match against the Sun, which should have made everyone in the league cringe.
Hey, we would have been crashing that RT.
Courtney, if somebody ever tackles you like that,
Nobody would ever tackle me like that. They would play with Bridget like that, and then we would have to like take it up there.
okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying that.
Nobody would ever play
If,
with me like
if
that.
that ever happens, you better crash out behind me, because I'm crashing out behind you.
See,
We can share the same jail cell.
JC Sheldon and Marina Mayberry effectively tagged Caitlin Clark mid-aim with a body check to the court and a claw to the face. But for some reason, neither of them was dismissed. I am not lying when I say Caitlin wasn't chirping a little with JC. Earlier, she was, but insulting someone does not give you the right to attack them. You can barely expect the league to take off by simply knocking its face to the ground, like in WWE. The commentators were astounded, too. It was clear in their voices. They anticipated being expelled. The answer was consistent across the league. What happened stunned players, coaches, analysts, and spectators alike.
This is JC Sheldon right here with an entire handful of Caitlin Clark's shoulder and bicep, and she's twisting it. Okay? I mean, this is wild. Here's the zoomed out look, the snapshot. I mean, this league does not have control of its players.
Naturally, Caitlin's face claw and shove went viral and became the talk of the town, but it was not a single moment of mayhem. The refs ignored the tension that had built throughout the game.
The game has changed so much. Players are faster, they're better, they're bigger, they're stronger. They're as good as they've ever been. They're as athletic as they've ever been. The game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials.
The chippiness immediately boiled after boiling. Stephanie White was outraged following the game. Her body language told you everything before she said anything. She took a seat and inhaled deeply. The patient was then entirely discharged. The chippiness immediately boiled after boiling. Obviously, Stephanie White was outraged after. Play the game. Her body language told you everything before she said anything. She took a seat and inhaled deeply. The patient was then entirely discharged.
What was that play? Oh my God, this is rigged. This is rigged. She got yanked, fell on her hip. That's a hack! That's a hack! That's a hack! Oh my God, they hacked the one upon her and they hacked Caitlin Clark. They are both hacks. They are both hacks. They hacked Fever twice, and then there was a phantom foul called on Sabrina Ionescu.
That's about as harsh as you can get without identifying the refs. You do not improve when the rest of us say our IT is tough and gets to the heart of what many players, coaches, and supporters have been through. The difficulty is that the Sun game did not mark the beginning of this. IT has grown steadily during the season. Uneven officiating, missed calls, and the harsh and unprotective treatment of athletes like Caitlin Clark.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing. that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways.
The Fever's lack of calls was noticeable from the start of the season, but it reached a breaking point. During their 90-88 defeat to the Liberty, a game that became a hot potato among both competitors and viewers. That evening's officiating appeared biased. While Indiana could not acquire a whistle, New York received ticky-tack. Fouls. With the Liberty accumulating attempts and the Fever rarely reaching the stripe, the gap at the free throw. The line was evident. However, the disputed calls, or lack thereof, in the last moments enraged many. At the very end, the worst occurred on the final possession. Natasha Cloud clearly fouled Caitlin Clark, prohibiting her from ever taking a shot. Social media erupted as playback and replay revealed it. Analysts criticized it. The supporters became outraged. She left with Stephanie White.
Time where I'm attacking, it's very physical. I'm saying something to the ref, watch my land in space, watch physicality. I get laughed at, and it ends in my ankle getting turned. The same thing happened in Dallas, a flagrant that wasn't called. Same thing happened here. So my ankle is hanging in there, but it's starting to get very frustrating. I'm averaging less than 2 free throws a game, and I drive, I'm physical. I'm not someone who's avoiding contact. So I just hope that the safety of players starts to become a priority versus the ego of refs.
It's odd that she was punished for this, but not for ranting at the refs following the Sun game. The league appeared to be quietly accepting its shortcomings, as if they knew it was unjustifiable. To be honest, they should admit it, because we must tackle the growing unhappiness inside. The WNBA, before we even get into what Rebecca Lobo stated, which is both illuminating and extremely perilous for the league.
Difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA, and all of them said it needs to get better. Specifically, the consistency, not only from one game to the next, but the consistency within a game.
When players complain about rough play, the officials laugh at them instead of dismissing them. Players are giggling as they say things like, "I'm going to be wounded if this keeps up." Now, let us return to Rebecca Lobo and the link between Caitlin Clark and all of this. The bottom line is as follows: that if Caitlin fell down, it's game over. Everyone is aware of it, whether they admit it or not. The league, the players, networks, and fans owe her credit. Rebecca did not sugarcoat anything. She expressed what needed to be said in the most courteous manner imaginable. However, if you listen to what she says, it is considerably more concerning than you may imagine.
One coach told me, we tell our players to be as physical as they can possibly be for 40 minutes because we know for 38 of them, they're pretty much going to get away with it. So I think everybody would like to see a tighter whistle and a little bit more freedom of movement.
Now, did you hear what she said? She didn't just remark. Some coaches are worried. All of them, she stated. Every coach she has met with has expressed concern about officiating. And this is where it gets even worse. Because if all of the coaches believe that the officials have lost control, they now have no choice but a change. They will have to play by new rules. The unspoken one that says, if the officials don't safeguard, we will, guys. Things become dangerous at that point. Just that .it is akin to encouraging cars to go as fast as they like, because there is no highway. You will lag behind if you do not speed, even if it is unsafe. The WNBA is currently doing just that. Because it is all about survival, they are forcing players to be more aggressive, even if it is deadly. By refusing to raise officiating standards, they also understand that the referees will not intervene. We've already seen the results: cheap shots, body checks, and apparent fouls against Caitlin Clark, and the mounting annoyance of coaches and fans, and soon, when it occurs again, it ceases to appear like an oversight. It begins to resemble a message. The league appears to be saying that there is an open season for safeguarding Caitlin Clark. And now I understand. Kathy Angel Bird enjoys rivalries, and in an interview, she actually stated that gamers should do not be kind to one another. That is acceptable in concept. Rivalries are profitable. The game may benefit from a small advantage. However, the WNBA does not require artificial drama and dirty fouls when it comes to Caitlin Clark. So this is a tremendous mistake. Women's sports are already the most discussed and watched. A marketable athlete, and we now have a great example of why. Because next time Caitlin gets knocked down, it might cost the WNBA more than simply a game. Please tell me if you're still here. Leave a basketball in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.